Hello, Sanibonani, beautiful people. Another day, another live stream. Welcome back to Thenjiwe Comedy, where we have conversations regarding izinto that we are going through during the lockdown. It's another day, it's another quarantine diaries. We are still on lockdown. I do not know about where you are, but in a lot of the countries that are on lockdown, they are talking about children must go back to school. They are saying we are ready and children should go back to school. So I would like today to hear from both teachers as well as parents in regards with children going to school. Are we ready for children going to school? And also, there's a lot of online learning that's going on at the moment. Children are being sent schoolwork, the workload online. As parents, how has that been for you? Are you coping? Do you think they should continue doing this homeschool online learning? Third world countries where there's such a big division between the rich and the poor, between those who can afford to have internet and those who cannot. Some children cannot even afford to put on winter clothes during winter. As a teacher, how do you ask them to get a computer and have data so that they can do online learning? Some places still do not have electricity. Some schools do not even have windows, and winter is approaching in Africa. So how do you send back children to school during a flu epidemic? So today we will be discussing such issues, and I will be asking everyone to participate. I will be putting on a link, but first let us welcome our guest. She's a teacher and a mother, so it's a beautiful blend because we're going to hear from her point of view as a teacher as well as a parent. Mem Damin.
Yebo.
Sawubona sisi unjani?
Ngiyaphila njani dadewethu?
Ngiyaphila nami. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much. So please do introduce yourself and your profession and where you teach and where are you locked down.
Mina ngifundisa eKthula. Ngise South Coast. Right now I'm at Harding where quarantine ngivalele khona.
Very, very interesting. They say schools will be ready in South Africa. I think they said 2nd of June. Some grades can start going back. In some countries, they are saying end of May. In some countries, they are saying no schooling whatsoever. What do you think fanele yenziwe, especially in South Africa?
Yebo. Yebo, Tina. We are going back on the 1st of June, but the teachers will be back on the 25th
of May,
which means it's next week. Yes, next week. To receive sanitizers and the PPEs nje. Yeah, that's what they say. We must go back. But abantu abazoqala, it's grade 12. Who are going to start and then a primary or grade 7.
So a lot of people are saying they are not sending their children to school, but I will give them an opportunity. When as a teacher, do you think as a country we are ready to reopen schools?
Okay, I guess let's start here. My parent as well, okay? I have a child boarding school. Nginovalo lokuthi umntana ayiphindele boarding school kuzokwenzakalani because they are crowded there. And I'm afraid ukuthi some learners basuka ezindaweni ezikude, some from Eastern Cape, some from Gauteng. And nginovalo lokuthi laba abazobe becrossa lezi zindawo ebezivele zihlaseleke kakhulu lesi sifo abazofika yini naso labantwana bethu, because bethi bazoscreenwa. Yes, ngiyavuma ukuscreena. Into ithi manje if usebescreenila ngithi kuthiwa liyakwazi ukuhlala egazini lingathola igciwane, even though umuntu esescreenile ingasho i-temperature ithi maybe it's 32 degrees Celsius, but only to find ukuthi umntwana usuke esevele enalo or utheleleke along the way eza esikoleni. Okay, then nginalelo valo lokuthi angikwazi ukusenda umntana mbheki esikoleni ukuthi ngithi akayofunda. And abanye futhi bothisha nabamkakude bazofika bazobe behamba ngamabhasi, into nje eziningi la vele ekwenza ukuthi sitholakale khona lesifo. Two, ngiwuthisha ngokwale bekuthenjiswa ukuthi kuzofika ama-PPEs kusanitizwe izikole kwenza into kube clean, but right now sekuthiwa thina ezothisha we must go back to school and receive those PPEs, which means akakasanitizwa, akakenziwa lutho, especially kuma schools are in rural areas. There is nothing esekhona, which means ithina esizozenzela lo msebenzi while we are saying sithi receive abantwana. At the end of the day sizothola lesifo noma kuthiwani. Asikho ready ukusho lokho, we are not ready to go back to school.
Yeah, and also if they are saying, because they are saying if we have chronic diseases, you don't have to come back. How do they know? And also, is everyone willing to disclose disease? So that is a big question that I would like you guys to answer in the comments. And also for teachers like yourself who teach away from home, does it now mean you are leaving your children who are not yet ready to go back to school to go where you are teaching? Because a lot of teachers, especially those who teach in rural areas, are not from the area. They go during the week so that they can be able to go to school. Now, let's say you are a teacher. Schools reopen, but your child is not doing grade 7, your child is not doing grade 12. What do you do then? Do you leave your children alone while you go back to live somewhere else so that you can go back to school? If we have any teachers or any parents here in the comments, I would really appreciate it if you could join us, because I would like to hear from you. And also, if my other concern is that, I'm sorry, we usually do our lives in Zulu only, but I had so many requests from other people who are not Zulu speakers who want to be part of it. So we will be mixing a lot today. Also, what happens to those schools that do not even have ama patron that asebenzayo? We know that is a fact for a lot of schools. What happens to those areas that are struggling with water? So let us. And also another question I want to be asked is, some schools, I know you have feeding scheme in schools, especially in South Africa. I am not 100% sure if all the schools have the feeding schemes. But for firstly, those schools who do not have feeding schemes, and those schools who do have feeding schemes but still have labo auntie who sell food out during the break, are they also going to be allowed to come back? And is that not also going to increase the risk, including the people who will be cooking the food of a feeding scheme and bringing it to the children? So here I just put the link, guys. If you would like to join us as a parent, as a guardian, or as a teacher, please click the link and join us. We want to know ukuthi nina nithini. Yes, not all. Yebo, sisazwana. Yeah. So when do you think teachers are ready? You said you don't think schools are ready to open. So what right as a teacher or as a parent do we have to say I am not going back to school or my child is not going back to school?
Pardon?
Ngithi mina, as a parent or as a teacher, what right do I have to say I am not going back to school or my child is not going back to school?
Ngasho ngithi I think abantwana kumele sibahlalise emakhaya thina njengabazali. Serve i-purpose ka-Department of Education, thina as educators we must go back to school because they say so.
But it's because they say.
Yes, they say so. Tina, it's not like we are not ready. We are afraid of this pandemic.
You are afraid.
Tina kufana nokuthi it's an insult ukuthi ungasitshela ukuthi kufanele sibe sesikoleni. Esikoleni siyeke ama cases, if I'm not mistaken, 300 cases here in South Africa. But now ama cases ase kakhulu. Usuthi asiphindele esikoleni. Siya wena you say so, you said teachers, you expect all teachers to go back to school when? On Monday. But umntwana wami mina angeke aze aye esikoleni. Kuzomela ngimgcinile ekhaya ukumvikela. Ke sifana nokuthi mhlawumbe kufanele si-disclose mhlawumbe ukuthi sinaziphi izifo esinazo. Angiboni ukuthi it's a good idea. Sikuphi kanti isidingo sokuthi ngihambe ngedwa ngiye kwi-counselling if ukuthi at the day kuzofanele kube khona umuntu engimtshelayo ukuthi kanti ngigulwa yini. So kusho ukuthi angisenayo mina into eyimfihlo ekuyeyami. Sekufanele ngaziwa ama-colleagues wami, you know ama-colleagues ukuthi kanjani. Ayathanda ukukisa ngabantu, ayathanda ukuhlekisana. So leyo nto ayisezokuba right if ngizo-disclose ukuthi mina nginalesi sifo because vele izolika at the end of the day bese bayayithola nabo bese ngiba umuntu kuleso sifo enginaso uthola ukuthi sebekuyiyona into engithuka ngayo because as teachers nje sinjalo nje sinjalo.
Yeah. Umathibela Ntokozo Vincent siyabonga uthi I am a music teacher in Mpumalanga. We are having challenges kuyimanje of practical subjects ekumele enze ama practical exam. How are we going to do that with social distancing? Yabo, that's a very difficult one where people have to do practical exams. How do we do that during social distancing? And also we must remember ukuthi some schools already they have 12 children in a class, especially when we talk about private schools, but some schools have 60 children in a class. What do we do in those situations? They say children are going to be divided and other teachers are going to have to help. What's the point of going back to school if we're going to have teachers who are not even experts in those subjects now teaching izingane? And also when it comes to the cleaning of the schools, have teachers been taught to do it properly? Is that not a job of a professional to come and disinfect iskole and all that? One of the points I had, they show one of the, let me not say MECs, someone saying, because I don't want to be quoted, was schools are getting vandalized. That's why they need teachers to go back. Are teachers security guards? If schools are getting vandalized, teachers are still going to be there during school hours and they're still going to go back home. Number two, teachers cannot do anything about schools being vandalized. Chances are schools are being vandalized at night, and are teachers security guards? Why must they go just for that reason? Also, another reason is that the fact that they are saying the likelihood of children going back to school, the longer they stay out of school, the more they stay at home, the unlikely it is that they will go back to school and finish. And also the increase in teenage pregnancy because of children not going back to school is going to be a problem. So those are some of the reasons that we have been told. I would really like you guys to join us. Ama links, I have put ama links. please do press the link and join us. We want to hear from you as parents and to hear from you as teachers. And also, I want to know, Mambofana Uguti, if as a parent I decide I'm not sending my child back to school, and every parent in your class decides they are not sending children to school, do you still have to go as a teacher?
Yebo, sizoya.
And
Sizoya.
do you teach a primary or a high school?
Ngise high school.
Which is even better because the primary would be worse. Do you think it will be easy or possible to control children from playing with each other, to control the 2 meter social distancing? Do you think that will be easy?
It's not going to be easy. Maybe for grade 12 only, but the other grades, it's going to be a problem, especially grade 8 and 9. I don't think they will practice that. And which means Tina as teachers, sizoyeka ezinye izinto ekumele kuthiwa singabe siyazenza libele esigadeni nabantwana, lo layini lo 1.5 meter kufanele bawume singabe sisenza lutho ukusho.
And also, who's going to provide children with mask and gloves? Is it the department that's going to provide every child with gloves and masks?
It's department, but umuntu ozobanikeza thina esikhona esikoleni is ama-educators.
Let us
ezobanikeza.
Nangu ukwanda saziwayo Ndlovu uthi department idlala ngezingane. University students are not going back to their residences because of this virus. Why kumele kubuyele izingane ezincane? That is a very valid statement. University students are not going back. Let us not even go to university students. The parliamentarians are not going back. Why are children going back? One of the points they raised about people going back is to restart the economy. So my question is, if we do have an economist amongst us, I would like them to explain to us, how does a teacher going back to school help the economy? Other than those few children who are now going to take public transport, which also makes it very risky, because each day a child gets onto a public transport to come to school, they are risking catching the virus, especially from Black communities. Not all of us can afford to have cars to drive our children to school, or not all of us have time to drive our children to school. So, yeah. Guys, I did put the link. Please do join us. Someone was asking for the link. I did post it. Thank you so much, Kumbuza the Prince. Yeah, guys. Hello, Sipo. Sipo in the house. Sipo, please press the link and join us. I know you always have comments akayo. Unozi Butuma. For me, my personal decision, my kids, I don't mind if they repeat the grade. Mask ihlula abantu abadala. What about izingane? Mask ihlula abantu abadala. What about izingane? That is a very valid question. We've seen even number one struggling to put on a mask. We've seen parliamentarian, our ministers, befaka izandla with gloves emlonyeni. So what about a child encane efunda isikole kuhluleka bona besiphethe? So yeah, we are now joined by a parent, Usibahle Mathe, who is gonna tell us ukuthi yena uthini as a parent. Sibahle, please welcome, introduce yourself. And
good evening to your audience. Lishonili Langa, Kuyabandi Tegwini. On the topic at hand, I'm an advocate for back to school. Simply because my children were back to school on the 14th of April. So that means I've been with them since early lockdown. And then on the 14th of April, it was back to school. That is full-blown schooling. They are registering on class ngo 7:45 ekseni. Banama timetable, they go on a break on specified times. Meaning, ngenhlanhla on my part, because I also sometimes work from home, I've always had that setup ekhaya, where I've got a printer, a scanner, and what have you, and then the children had their own devices. But khona bade bengenawo. So much that oyedwa wabo usebenzisa i-laptop kababa yasemsebenzini, because at that time ngesikhathi kuthiwa i-lockdown bese kuvalwe nama-devices asakwazi uku-add ama-laptop. Ngenhlanhla futhi on my party ngino-unlimited Wi-Fi la ekhaya, because vele ngijwayele nokusebenzela ekhaya. Ngebhadi kodwa ngoba sikwi-lockdown, I also had to sometimes work from home. Nginamaklasi ey'ngane four different children, 2 grade 9s, grade 6, and a grade 3. In all corners of my house, anginaso isithabathaba. Abanawo ama-bedroom abo laba bonke individual. So kwashifta sofa, kwabekwa sofa ngenye indlela, ipassage, asanyakaze passage, enye indawo, all different corners kunama-class la endlini. I've run out of ink, I don't know how many times ngithenga ink, because it's not all ink abakhulu futhi yilabo ink abancanyanyana, because it's not for office use, mainly for home. Umsebenzi uyafika every single day. Iy'ngane zafakwa before nje iqala i-system, saba ne-testing run esikoleni nani. It was exciting when it started. Sangena emaklasini iy'ngane zaba nama-email addresses azo, umsebenzi wabo uyapostwa online ku-classroom, banama-Zoom, banama-code, yonke into ihamba kahle. Ngokuhamba kwendlela, I'm noticing ukuthi hayibo, in the middle of my work faneke ngiyochecka lo mncane kakhulukazi, ngiyomngenisa. Yes, sebe-proficient ngoba bahlakaniphile. Useyazi ukuthi okay, at this time umprintelile i-timetable yakhe, sekufanele ngingene ku-Zoom class ukuthi na i-code uyakwazi ukuyifaka eklasini, uyakwazi ukufaka ama-pin number, ama-password nani. From Zoom faneke abuyele ku-Google Classroom ayolanda umsebenzi wakhe. Faneke awuprint. Sometimes i-Wi-Fi it takes long, uthola ukuthi ayiprint. Frustrated yena ngoba mncane, she's impatient. Printe mhlawumbe she's hitting print 10 times, ama-page awu-5. Ngesikhathi rebooter i-printer tululu, one way the printer is printing. And then on top of that, even when I'm trying to work, I'm also on my own Zoom meetings. Nangu seyafika, Mama, don't think my computer is connected to the Wi-Fi. Hambe ngiyoreboot u-Wi-Fi, hambe ngiyolungisa in the middle one. Because khumbulani ukuthi ingane zethu azifani nge-character. Uthisha was trained to deal with this child, that child, and the other. Sibeke in exclusively is children with special need. Kodwa nje iy'ngane ezinormal nazo zinama learning abilities and disabilities abo. My middle child, she's a quiet child, she's an introvert. Kwala ekhaya ungane engakhulumi namuntu, une-character yakhe. Naseklasini she's the same. She does not put her hand up, akavolontiyi ngalutho, unless uthisha asks her specifically, Sakani, do you understand 1, 2, 3? What is the answer? Now imagine that child. Eklasini uthisha uyazi ukuthi uma sengidile nabo bonke laba, I still have to check with uTsakani ukuthi u-understandile yini lo msebenzi. Now I am a parent. I've got no training and no patience nami. Na ingane iprintelwe inikezwe i-worksheet on email, wayiprinta wanikeza umsebenzi wakhe, she's expecting ukuthi aqale i-concept entsha ye-geography. Kwamina ngayigcina nini i-geography? Kwamina i-NS ngayigcina nini? The new concepts efuneke afunde ama-notes on her own. Our understanding, we're talking about izinto ezenzeke eUnisa. eUnisa saphuma nama-degree kanzima. I can't even mention how many times I failed ama-class athize eUnisa ngiyi-adult. There is a child who's supposed to learn a new concept. Yebo uthisha uyabakhona online. Khumbula ukuthi vele ngokwe-economics umuzwa wami wrong. Isikole si-set up sine-setting lighting evumelekile ehambisana namehlo ukuthi okay, this the type of light fanele shine on this direction. All those things when they design isikole All those things are put into place. I-desk ifanele ihlale kanje. Ama-desk are-compliant for ingane of this age, anje. Anginawo ama-desk la kwami. Kuhleliwe ey'tulweni zomcimbi. Sagqishela sabeka amaphilo. Iy'ngane they are slunging forward zivama ukuyosondela kuma-computer ngoba phela this is not an ordinary desk lesikole. Ngizogcina mina nginey'ngane ezinama-back problems. Nginey'ngane omunye nje the youngest ufake iy'buko already she's 8. She's refusing ngoba kuyena ukufaka iy'buko is not an in thing. So every chance she gets uyayikhumula iy'buko. Uyele njo phambi kwe-computer funa ukuyofunda. Ngoba nebhuku lakhe afuna lifunde reading is online. Yonke, which means I've got a child who's going to spend a minimum 3-4 hours egqolozela iscreen. It is wrong. It is incorrect. This whole house is not conducive for learning. Mina, I've even sent emails to the various othisha babo. Ngabachazela ukuthi I assure you, there is no learning that is going on in this house. There's reading, there's compliance, bayagcwalisa ama-worksheets, mhlawumbe baphendula ama-questions, bayacrayona, benza ama-crossword, benzani, particularly laba abancane. But I will not call that learning. There is no learning happening in this house. Then there was a time, and it's learning is prolonged. Now there's a time ingane kakhulukazi lo ngimshoyo phakathi nendawo. Angithi uyi special child. Ngiyambuza ngithi frustrated manje aka understand angena uthisha. Umeke wangibuza nami ngibhodla umlilo. Se frustrated. Sakwenzeni namhlanje ngoba there come a time nami sengiyayibalekela lento. Kuvuka ekseni, ngithi bonke abantu ba connected. Yes, ngiyahamba nge-office nami. Ngcono ngiyosebenzela e-office ngoba nami iyangistressa ngokwami lento. Mangibuya wenzeni zehla inyembezi. Now the child is under distress. Akusafundwa ke kakhulu ke kunaqala ke la sekuconcrete ke lo. Uyabo? Kanti uthisha uma ikhala eclassini uthisha uyakwazi hlala duze kwayo. Ukufundela ukuthi how do I deal nengane engakunderstand kahle hle. Zibuya ingane eziphasa akaphiwa ama marks. Uthisha ama-effort athisha nge-qualification ne-experience yathisha. Mina I'm an impatient parent odiklanela umsebenzi left right and center onabantu efuneke abaholele engazobaholela ngani i-UIF ayikhokhile nginamabhondi ngineyimoto efuneke ngiyikhokhele nani. I am stressed myself. I have got no patience. Patience to be.
So when Sbahle, are you saying that children must go back to school instead of online learning, or are you saying the year must be cancelled and we pick it up next year when things go back to whatever the new normal will be?
Children must go back to school because iskole is a structure that is conducive to learning. Ekhaya is where umntana meyivalele ekamereni. I don't know ukuthi ucabangani. I'm not even sure noma kule computer akuyona online learning if she's even learning. Fanele ngiphinde ngibe iphoyisa ngicheck ukuthi akafundi yini izinto zokuba u-serial killer khona lapho kulo computer yakhe. Akafundi yini mhlawumbe ngikuzela amantombazane. So
the question is, are schools ready to receive them? Are teachers ready to receive them? Especially in a country like South Africa, where the divide between the rich and the poor translates also into the structure of the schools. Are we saying children who come from, like the way you are explaining, your children are going to a model C school, your children are going to a private school, they are most likely to have, the fact that they are even doing online learning says a lot, because this child right here is not doing online learning. And when they say children go to school, it doesn't only speak to your child, it also speaks to this child over here who must also go back to school. Is this child's school ready to receive her? Is she going to be healthy? And also, we have a lot of model children who live in the township who have to take a bus, who have to take a train, who have to take a taxi. Shall they also come back to school? Are they not exposing your child from all the public transport they are taking? Let me welcome Udoli, who is also joining us before you give me an answer, because she's been waiting backstage. Hello, Dolly, welcome. She'll come back.
Okay. Njengamanje, not even a hypothetical, a realistic scenario. I'm worried about chorus here in South Africa that has suddenly become so involved with the children that are less fortunate, that are not in their given day worried about ingane zako qugqa nezakobani nezakobani. We've never fought for those children, being realistic, the way that we are fighting for them now. Right? That's my point number one. Point number two, mina I go to kwamashu kwamanje. Umashu ngo-8 ingane ziyadlala eminyango. Ziyadlala eminyango 3 thina, ziyadlala mhlawumbe ke singasho sithi ezethu lezi ehlala kuma suburbs going to the affluent schools nani esingathi at this moment they've been protected ngoba ezami they've never seen the day of light until kuvulwe kuthiwe sekuyawalkwa nami ngize ngiyirelieve ngoba vele I feel ukuthi zisehokweni ngayiwalka nazo kuye ebhishi. They've never seen, ayikaze iphume ngaphandle. Kodwa ezasenanda ayikaze ihlale endlini. Ezakithi esiyanda la engiqhamuka khona kusemjondolo ayikaze ihlale ekhaya. Zone, those are exactly the same kids esithi thina izikole zabo azikho ready, othisha bekho ready, they are less fortunate. Yebo siyakuvuma lokho, but njengamanje reality is those children are out in the streets, ziyadlala, ngcono zibe seklasini ziyofunda eklasini ngoba the most poorest of the poor children at this moment they are not protected. At least esikoleni sizwile kuthiwa there will be ama-mask izoprovidwa, there will be ama-sanitizer, there will be decontamination of schools. Sesizothi thina, because we're always looking for what if the negative side. Ngeke simthembe uhulumeni ucorrupt. We haven't tried. Uhulumeni ucorrupt. Kuzophuma ithenda yama-sanitizer angafike ezikoleni. Now the ball is on our court. Who is failing our children? Our government or us? It's us who are instilling fear enganeni. I'm worried about a parent othi masifundisa ingane, ukwazi ukufundisa ingane yakho ukukhuleka ekhaya nokuthi uthi wegirl ona 2 akuthinti umuntu la phambili. Uma ke wakuthinta umalume uyamemeza. Siyakwazi ukubafundisa lokho. Why can we not instill the same? Girl, kuyafiwa kuyakhulumeka nezingane, especially uthisha. Uthisha has a power over a child. Into eshiwo uthisha is law. And I trust othisha not to instill fear enganeni, but to give them information correct. Njengoba kuthiwe izingane zami even ugrade R sifake ifonyo asikhiphi senze njani bahlali becule emaklasini ukufundisa ingane kusukela ka A senze njani izisho ingane asizikhiphi uma sizikhipha kuzoba njani sothola icorona. Exactly. Now we are saying all of a sudden the whole of South Africa is saying ingane zethu ayifundiseki ayilawuleki. That is what we are saying. Meaning we are saying we are failing as parents, no teacher futhi bazofeyila. Kanti kufundwani ke esikoleni uma ngabe sithi ingane zethu ngeyifundiseke this new normal kufundwani esikoleni?
Okay,
the very same children you are saying you are protecting of the poorest of the poor basemgaqweni bayokha amanzi banjanjani njengamanje. They are better off in school. Esikoleni kune system bayadliswa esikoleni. Government is going to do what they promised to do to protect the children in a school environment. Kodwa njengamanje ezakamashu nezasemlazi go njengamanje ngo-8 ekuseni uzozibona zidlala u3 thina ziyadlala zenza umathanda. There is no control elokishini.
Ake sizwe uDolly. Dolly, welcome. Siyabonga ukuthi uphinde usijoyine namhlanje. Please introduce yourself kulaba abangakwazi and bese uyasitshela ukuthi are you here as a parent, as a citizen or as a teacher, please?
Okay, I'm here as a citizen. Ndisuka kakhulu Thenjiwe kokuqala ngondamkela sisi. Suka kwi-family enabantu abaninzi abasebenza kwi-Department of Education. My sister uteacher eFata kwisikolo sabantwana abangevayo nabangaboniyo, blind and deaf. And my daughter usebenza eUnitra, and she was concerned because we were having this conversation yoba funeke bephinde esikolweni. I-advice and like usisibahle njengoba ethetha ngeendaba zee-computers and everything, abantwana abaninzi are not privileged enough to have all this kind of technology apho bezawukwazi ukwenza umsebenzi wabo wesikolo. Mna ndiyafuna abantwana baphinde esikolweni. The only problem is that I wish government could have do something about the situation before they can send even the teachers to. They're supposed to in janitorial and cleaning services. Now I'm sure they're not equipped to deal with the kind of situation. Bafundiswe indlela yokuklina baqale bona abantu abathi befike because taking teachers kuthiwe mabayo kwamkela izinto ezakwenza sibe sanitize sibe isikolo singekho sanitize itself, I don't think it makes sense. But there's a lot of abantwana basuka emakhayeni mhlambi omama abafundanga abazali abafundanga, really to be in school and to be with the environment apho kuzaba khona professional people who are trained to teach abantwana yinto right kubo. Abantwana, they are really suffering, and ukuhlala kwabo ekhaya kuza nomntana obesikolo end up engasafuni kufuneka ephile. But to take a teacher front line like that is something that I don't agree with. Othisha bamele kukuya esikolweni esesivele siklini bazokwazi nabo ulandelisa imithetho ebantwaneni bezazi nabo baba safe. Bazawuthi hi, how are you, kanjani mntaneni esikolo, how have you been all this time usekhaya, baboza abantwana one by one babanjani like they always do. Xa bezazi nabo into yobana they are all like walking on eggshells, they are so scared of, they don't even know bana ungena kwam apha mhlambi bendingene ndiphilile but xa sendisesikolweni because ndifanga naso ekhaya ngoba urhulumeni ebaqophe ebaqophe uba mabambe kuthiwa mabaye kanjani abantwana babantu safe. That's something that I don't agree with. Kona ukuba abantwana mababuyele esikolweni mababuyela esikolweni, and isicelo endinaso ingase thina ma-South Africans, because there are a lot of people in our country fortunate a lot of resources, ingathi they can share kuyiwe kwezindawo apha abantwana bangenanzi baphiwe ii-computers, abantu badonate imali kunikwa abantu so they at least they can i-technology bakwazi usebenza bakwazi uqhubeleka umsebenzi wesikolo. People who are fortunate bathatha abantwana babo base ezikolweni expensive. Not everybody can afford to do that. Bayakwazi kabo bantwana uba bakwazi uqhubeleka nomsebenzi whether baye seklasini okanye
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Let us welcome Usipho Ushange. Sizoza ukuthi
so ndiyavumelana nawe.
Hello everyone.
Yebo sawubona Sipho, unjani?
Ngiyaphila ninjani?
Siyaphila.
Yazizwa ngento ebaluleke kakhulu.
Indaba engathi indaba yomama le. Akuyona indaba yomama sizenze sodwa.
Yes, I was about to say that, which I feel very honored to be amongst the ladies. And njengomuntu one umuntu wesilisa ngiyabonga kakhulu ngizorepresenta. Can you guys hear me though?
Sekuzwa kahle kakhulu, ngiyacabanga nabanye bayakuzwa.
Okay, and I'm very sorry, probably I've missed some of the points that you guys have already spoken of or already said. Yeah, this topic, it's inzima kakhulu as is Thenjiwe. And there are so many ways that you need to look at this thing. You just need to look at this in so many angles, because at some point I understand if the government says the kids or the student must go back to school, but because you know, at the moment teachers are at home, sitting at home, and they're just getting paid, you know, without working. So I think, you know, they're trying to make sure ukuthi, when they pay or teacher, they know exactly ukuthi basebenzile and stuff like that. And also
because SASSA pays people abangasebenzanga at all, so we cannot blame all teacher for being paid for not working. Abantu beqolo basebenzile. So we cannot complain because they are not also going to say we're not going to pay your teacher, so we're not going to take your tax. We are still paying our tax. So isalary your teacher should not be part of any discussion. Whether they go to school or not, they should still be paid, in my opinion.
That's true. That's very true. But I think the way they are looking at it is that maybe out of these 500 billion, so it was not budgeted for about each. And then Guti, SASSA, and all these other unemployed people, they are paid out of that 500 billion. So then I think when the bank complain, but in any case, Mina as a parent, I think it's not. I mean, we are not ready. I mean, South Africa is not ready for our students and kids to go back to school. I mean, can you imagine, Thenjiwe, a 13-year-old girl or boy who is schooling, and maybe especially in rural areas, so in rural areas, you'd find that in a single class there are about 45 kids. So, and then there's only one teacher, and then who's gonna look after these kids? And who's gonna, keep checking are they adhering social distancing and stuff, So, and then at the end of the day, people will try, or the government maybe will try and blame about teacher, they're not doing their job because these kids, they will just forget there's this social distance thing. So, and also in terms of the mask, who's gonna provide them? Is the government who's gonna give them the mask? And then and I know some kids, they will just use that mask for 5 minutes or for 1 minute, and then they forget about it. And they will also exchange, and some of them, they will just play with his mask. So because these kids, they need to go back home as well. So, and then when they meet, they are coming from different families, and we don't know in those families and you'll find that as a kid or a student, we are told corona from school, and then I corona, and that's gonna be a problem. I think so I think they were still supposed to sit down and then review. Hello.
Sorry, Usbahle uthi akakuzwa. Eish. Phahla ifoni yakho phansi.
Is it pants? Maybe I need to gibele. Angizwa.
Uyamuzwa manje?
Angazi ngimuzwa.
Like nothing. But can you see me though? Can you see him? Can you?
Ngiyambona ubukeke engathi unomqondo.
Looks can see.
Ku Mchakom, and then umam noxolo uyangizwa uMadlamini.
Madlamini uyakuzwa.
Uyangizwa. Okay. And then this thing, can you hear me?
Kanguzwa. Obviously ngiyakuzwa.
Uyangizwa ngiphendula kanjani?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. You guys, please just give me a signal. Just give me a thumbs up. You can't hear me. But
yeah.
Thing
okay, sure.
Hey, yeah. I think it's time for him to go out and then come back, please. It's a recess.
Because amanye maningi kakhulu manje bengiwafaka yabo njengalena nje imani ivale wonke umuntu ebusweni. Umpumejeza uthi grade 7 and grade 12 are both exit grades, and it's important ukuthi babuyele esikoleni baqedele syllabus yabo ukuze baqhubekele to the next educational level. If these two grades do not exit their level this year, grade 1 pupils will not be able to register in 2021. There will be no space for them, then our country will have a generation who is behind the development for the rest of their lives compared to same age groups in the world. Izimpilo zabantwana zibalulekile, but their development is also. Ooh, that's a very difficult one, because I could also
Yes, I want.
because we have a lot of graduates and matriculants abahlele ekhaya. So why not save the year where you are also saving your lives?
Yes, I wanted to touch that point as well, Thenjiwe. Hello, Thenjiwe. Yes, I wanted to touch to that point as well. Maybe they just need to look at the grades. Not everyone should. I mean, I don't think every kid or every student is ready to go back. So I think they just need to look at the age and also the grades, because we understand. I mean, a person or a kid or a student that is doing grade, for example, grade, I think 11, from grade 11, grade 12. I think those ones, I mean, they can go back to school, because I think they are kind sort of matured enough to understand what's going on around right now. And they, once they miss 1 year, and then it's gonna be an issue. But I think it's better than dying. I mean, if you go back there, go back to school, and then you come back with corona and you kill the whole family, it's a problem. Rather skip a year and then maybe rejoin another year. I think that would be okay for us. And it's bad because we don't even have a cure for this thing. Hello?
I need your opinion now as a teacher. It seems like the popular opinion ukuthi children must go back to school, and I think abazali nabo bakhathele, bafed up, bathi hey abayobona bazokwenzani. Mina I'm not a nanny, I'm not, and some of us as parents, we lied to our children, told them ukuthi mina angihlale ngiphume number 1. Manje we are stuck having to teach them things we don't understand. Some of our children are going to Model C schools. Tina, we didn't. So how do I tell my child? How we pronounce words. To pronounce it, mommy, that's not how you say it. Forgetting what you are giving them this education. So even as parents, we are feeling bullied. And when you tell a parent, it's like, when you get onto a flight and then you sit on the exit seat, emergency exit, and they want to teach you what they learned in a year. They want to teach you in 2 minutes. But in case we have an emergency, this is what you do. Aibo, was I there when you were doing training? If there's an emergency, I'm calling you to come and help people. I mean, I'm not here to help people, and I'm not getting paid to help people. I think that's the attitude we are having as parents. And also, we need to be honest, especially in a country like South Africa. The division between the poor and the rich is too much. A family that's struggling and wanting food parcel. Do you think right now they are really concerned that much about ingane going back to school? My children are children of essential workers. So even at home, they are even ekhaya, but we high risk of parents even bringing corona at any given day. That now a parent who's still struggling with this, who's complaining that they're not getting food parcels. Asizwe Nokolo as a teacher, ukuthi wena uthini?
Question. Myself. Kukhona ubhuti lo osanda ngena ubani usandile?
Usipho.
Sipho.
Yebo.
Ngiyazwakala?
Yebo, ngiyakuzwa, ngifuna ngibona nokudla, yebo.
Ngiyabona nami angikwazi ukuqhamuka.
Hayi,
kukhona la usisithenjiwe akuyekise khona manilana nokulari othisha behleze ekhaya.
Yes.
Bengifuna nje ukuveza okuncane lapho ukuthi uthi nina nimbuka as uthisha ohlele ekhaya njengamanje ohola kuphela, kodwa uthisha kunalesi sikhathi lesi nje mawuqala nje unyaka, mekuthiwa unyaka uyaqala, sinama planning nathi siyaplan ukuthi sizokwenzani ezothisha. Okay,
yes.
kunesikhathi uthisha anikela ngaso ugovernment akaze azamkhokhele sona. Unyaka nonyaka kwenzeka into eyodwa uthisha ngesikhathi sakhe ugovernment angakaze azamnikeze sona. Umuntu osebenza kwi-private usuke ngaleso sikhathi yena ezothola ini, ezothola i-bonus. Tina, or I mean uzothola i-overtime. Tina, we don't have ama-overtime. Tina siyasebenza. Last year bengi-pregnant, ngino-9 ngi-pregnant, ngifundisa u-grade 12. Bengingena, maybe uthole ukuthi ngingena ngo-6 ntambama, ngize ngiphuma u-12 ebusuku. Akekho okwangikhokhela lo overtime. Bese kuthiwa uthisha azile ukuhola for 2 months ehlezi ekhaya. What about lesi sikhathi mina ngingasifundi ebusuku? Izingane sihlezi nazo esikoleni ngaphakathi, esikoleni. Kuthisha omkhulu ohlala nazo esikoleni. Thina abanye siyasebenza siyahamba. Leso sikhathi akekho umuntu osibalayo, akekho umuntu osikhumbulayo leso sikhathi. Awekho umuntu owakhumbula ama-weekend ukuthi thina ngama-weekend thina sisuke sisebenza kodwa sikaze size sikhokhele. Mina ngiyagibela every Friday kumele ngibe ngisekhaya ngoba nginezingane ezincane. Kufanele ngibe ngisekhaya. Nge-Sunday kumele ngiphindele emsebenzini. Uyayibona nje lonto ukuthi ayikho iyayo yonke lonto because namfanele phela ngibe nomndeni wami. Kahle kahle kufanele ngibe kuthiwa ngiyayithola overtime so that nami ngizoenjoy ukuthi ngiyasebenza. But angikwazi. Kodwa into engiyenza njani? Ngithi ngoba ngifundisa ingane yomuntu omnyama, ngiyanikela ngesikhathi sami. So ukuthi bekade sihleze ekhaya kwenzakalani in sahola for 2 months. Into encane kabi 2 months. Kunesikhathi esesinikele neminyaka abantu esinikele. Abanye besebeze baguga benikele ngaleso sikhathi. Ngiyabonga.
Hayi ngiyavuma.
Hayi siyeza khulumani bazali.
Cela ungena.
Sibahle uthini lapha?
Ngibabeka nje kancane.
Okay, khuluma Sipho.
Yebo, no ngiyavumelana kakhulu
ngena baba.
Hello, Nyangis. Yes, no, I agree.
Yebo,
I agree.
Yebo.
And you guys know, Gucci, this is South Africa we are living in, right? And they say whatever they want to say. They say so many things about. So ngivumelana kakhulu mama and teacher vela indaba zama overtime nana bayithola zonke lezo zinto. So but now I think abanye babo mhlambe bebenako ukuthi nebafuna ukubuyela emuva, but ke mina I'm not a teacher. Now we just heard it from a teacher herself. So I think nje lento yokubuyela kwengane esikoleni guys, it's not right for now. Akukho kahle. So it's fine. Even this year singawukhansela, it's okay. Sizoqala kahle next year because I mean we can see the stats, the numbers are increasing each and every day. So taking our kids to school, are we taking, I mean, do we want our kids to die? Do we want our kid to go and get corona and come back and spread it at home? No, guys, I think finally it's better to skip a year, I mean, than dying. So
Yeah.
Uyabona i-presentation kaMam Angie izolo. I was so impressed. I've never been impressed with Mam Angie the way I was izolo. She has done her research. She came with facts. And she articulated in every concern ebekiwe. She demonstrated ukuthi bese bacabangile lokhu. And unfortunately, akuwona wonke ama-remedial measures azosutha wonke umuntu as i-country yonke. Kodwa, Mam Noxolo, ngicela ukukusupport, being a daughter of isiqomqomi sa-principal, osahlala phansi, owayebhalisa u-A. So ngithi-ke, yabona nje when it comes to salary kathisha ingathintwa. Because kuney'kole eziba kusikhuluma ngo-Vryheid o comprehensive, sikhuluma ngey'kole senkandla ey'khipho 7A obani akwenzeki ngomlingo lokho, kwenziwa ngededication kathisha ongatholi isenti le-overtime. Mina uma wami wayehamba ngisho nemiss noVasilina ayolapha iy'londa, ahambe no-gender violent, Le maqaqasini, she was just a teacher, never compensated. So even if mas ngase 6 months, or teacher about 6 months, for every teacher who's ever worked hard, unpaid, unrecognized, they deserve. For every teacher owakwabelethisa ingane esikoleni, they deserve ukuhola mahala masifuna ukuthi mahala. Isona sikhathi ke lesi othisha bebelethisa izingane zethu esikoleni abake bakuholele ke lokho ngithi abanikwe. Sikodwa ke ephuzwini lokuthi ingadi ithi plan kaEnju uza neplan. Ithi akungene laba bayingcosana. Besithi njengama oqala uEnju ushilo wathi uzosidecontaminate isikole. uEnji ushilo kunembuzo lokuthi sizo decontaminate obani i-department ayisebenzi yodwa khona uhealth khona upublic works maningi ama-department asebenzisana khona ama-civil organizations khona ama-international organizations we are all in kubanjiswene kulento so akushiwonga ukuthi kuzoba nabazali abazoyohlanza isikole no. There will be a service provider ozoqashwa. That answers the question ukuthi bazobuya sizodek ushilo nje wathi there will be no school ekuzoba khona esizo occupywa singadecontaminatewanga. But because we are forever negative and we never want to see the light, sizothi we asibathembi so besidecontaminatewe nini asithembi nalo sanitize ixaxwa amanzi yigebengu lapha. Let us be a positive nation. In the interest of our children. Ngike ngachaza webabushange ngathi yabona ezami ingane njengamanje ayisele ndawo ngoba lokho kwavula izikole zayivula ngomhla 14 ayikaze ingabi seclassini ziyafunda kodwa ingane zadade wethu sisapersonal ngitamanje my sister's children zihlala esiyanda lokho zavala kune lockdown ayikaze ifunde which means ezami ziya upgrade ezabo ziya downgrade. So lempesilwa kangaka sithi the poorest of the poor siyazi asisicabangeli ushilo uhulumeni wathi uzodecontaminate ikona uzoprovide ifonyo zeingane uze wachaza kahle uEnji futhi wathi i-roll call yesikole ithi 1000 akuwona wonke u1000 ozobuyela esikoleni uthe njengamanje is gradual intake which means isikole njengamanje grade 7 no grade 12 khona grade 7 ongacazulwa uyongena eclassini la grade 3 mawukhona kuleso sikole okhona ozongena egradini ka grade 8 hlukaniswa ama class wachaza futhi wathi labo thisha aba grade 8 abahleli abangawufundisa ugrade 9 no up to whatever they will use the same teachers ukuchaza lama class noku accommodator ukuthi iclass libe nezingane ezifewer. The whole school for now is available to only 2 grades, grade 7, no grade 12. Why are we the advocates for ukudonsela ingane zethu emuva? Why? It's nama obstacles and we are coming with no answers. What if the COVID lasts for 3 years? Which means soba nezingane kwamasha engafundi esiyande engafundi emlazi engafundi for 3 years. Is that what we're saying as parents? In this already say abantu abamnyama sicindezelwa asisho ukuthi ukufunda kwethu guarantees our success kodwa ukufunda kune impact ake sibuke nje i-socialization aspect of schooling singasabuki nje ukuthi uyisiqenqe se-physics the socialization aspect of the school is a structure sine reason uyazi uthisha uyabo why kuyithina esishaya itoyitoyi sithi ingane ayibuyele esikoleni sikhuluma ngo next year. Who said izobe iphelile next year? What if next year ingalokhuzi? Uyabona? And then we are quick to say abelungu baphambili abelungu because they're always looking for solution less problems. Thina for every solution ebekwayo sibeka inkinga. For every solution ebekwayo sibeka inkinga. Uchazile uEnji what she's aware kuneyingane esikoleni ezinama underlying conditions. Wathi principal contact wathi parents xhumana nothisha xhumana ne-SGB siyokwenza izinhlelo zeingane ukuthi zingasali lezi ze-asthma lezi zo-chronic lezi zani unama social worker ahlela angasebenzi everyone is being utilized right now. Why sivimbela izinhlelo ngokuthi sithi ingane zethu azikho ingane eziwumhlatshelo not a single parent Uyabuze washo u-Andrew wathi we are not khohlakalad. Ushilo noma udeputy wathi we are not khohlakalad. Abakhohlakala abazali laba. Ekugcineni let us think about our poor children. Ehleli njengamanje ebhuquzayo. And the reality is ingane zasenkandla eno-15 zizoganiswa. Zizoganiswa. Ngoba ihleli ayifundi. That is what's going to happen. Ezasemaqaqasini zizoganiswa. Owayefuna ukuba isigebengu njengamanje obesave isikole enothisha othize esikoleni ommotivateayo esethi ayisengiyavuka nje ngivukela uthisha ubani kodwa kahle kahle lempilo angisayifuni afike esikoleni amncenga uMamdlamini amncenga uMamdlamini athi mfana wami uhlakaniphile ifuture yakhe bright njengamanje le gap nje it's too much for leyo ngane lehlala nobaba oshaya umama ekhaya endlini. Let us free our children. Ithina abazali we are obstacles ekumiseni impilo zey'ngane zethu. Khuluma Shenge. Khuluma
Bashani. What about the kids abahlala with grandparents? Babuye bathelele old people with chronic diseases. Would you rather your child goes to school only for them to next week go to Ematuneni? Because already there are plans for mass graves, which means they know what this thing is as Shaibuke. Khuluma Shenge.
Shange.
Nayibongo zakho.
Ngingaqonya kahle. Yes, no, ngiyamuzwa usisi ne. Ngiyamuzwa usisi ama-point akhe, but now the problem thina we are worried as South Africans, we are worried about being, dying. Sibahle? Can you guys hear me? Yes, yeah. I hear your point, Sibahle, and then they're very good. Angizwa ngizoshaya amasayini ke vele ngangaya nasikoleni samasayini.
Yebo.
Yeah, ngithi yangizwa.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, ngithi Sibahle. Yes, ngithi Sibahle ngiyamuzwa ama-point akhe nama-concerns wakhe, but the problem is lana esekuthenini le corona le maybe it would be better only if we had a cure, but right now we don't have a cure and we are worried about, and this thing, it attacks mostly ingane nabantu abadala and the very same kids lezi esithi fanele zibuyele esikoleni. And i-problem yami ekutheni it's fine ishathiwa bazosanitize esikoleni benze yonke leyo nto, but now i-problem sekuthenini that service is it gonna cover every school that we have in South Africa? And if beyenza, are they gonna do it on the daily basis? And then what happens if ingane ekhaya uthola ekhaya one member of a family got a corona maybe in one of the malls, because we are allowed to go and buy essentials, and then ingane besiyaphinda maybe along the way bisayekoleni, because not all the kids are using transport to go to school. Some kids bayahamba bonke endleleni futhi bayadlala bayathintana yonke le nto sebeyathelelana ngecorona. And then kwenzeka kanjani? Because uma seyithelelene necorona akusho ukuthi uma sizofika esikoleni siyosanitizer izobe siyaphela. That kid can still go back with the corona iyekhaya iyo spread to other members. And then kwenzeka kanjani leso simo kanjani?
Nangu Nolindi Maseko ethi bebekuphi sonke lesi sikhathi. Isivele phi yonke le mali kade izikole zayinama-toilet angaflashwa nama-window afile nama-desk angekho. Uthi ngoba lento izoqala kwi-transport bazofika kanjani esikoleni umalume njengoba befakwa emotweni njengezimbuzi, and ngempela bafakwa ngathi iy'mbuzi. Kuzokwenzeka kanjani? Kuzofanele umalume athathe amalodi ahlukene. Kodwa before si-address leyo ngicela si-welcome uSindi asitshele ukuthi yena uthini nokuthi parent or teacher.
Ngiyabingelela ngazi noma ngiyazwakala na?
Siyakuzwa.
Siyazwakala.
Okay. Mina nguSindi and actually I'm a teacher. Ngifundisa grade R. So ngizoyithatha lento from i-perspective yethu teacher, and ngiyamuzwa Sibahle yena ukhala ngokuthi si negative kungasiloko Sibahle. So yonke lento sonke isenze saba kind of anxious, sonke siyasaba sothukile, we are worried, we don't know what to do, we are new. As much as you say we are trained to deal with different kinds of children, we are trained. And you know what, the emphasis of dealing with all kinds of children, the affection. of which with the current situation, we cannot even do that. If I had to deal with your daughter saying une problem yana mhlambe she's not feeling well, which is the first thing that you do eklasini mawungena njengothisha, you need to look at all these abantwana ubabheke. Some of them, as you say, they come from amakhaya laba abused corner, and we need to find out ukuthi idimina yabo injani on a daily basis. With this, this thing, you check your temperature, the allocations, and then the sanitizing. How are we going to get time to do that? How are we going to show affection? How do we socialize nabo? Because ukufundisa is not only about academics, it's also about emotions. And abantwana baguzwa. Once abantwana they're not spiritually well, they will never ever hear. I'm talking about a grade R child. So that is the first problem. The second problem is that we were not consulted. Tina, the people that are actually inside the war, it's like sizokhuluma ngamasoja when we've never even been there. You understand? Sonke siyakhuluma, but we were not consulted. Tina besifuna ukuthi sibizwe, and we are not ready. We feel we are not ready. This morning, I've been hearing my principal saying, guys, yes, the minister did say that siyavula on Monday, but izinto azikakafiki. So stay safe. Yeah, just prepare. Monday siyavula izinto azikakafiki. What do you think that is doing to us? What do you think that is doing to sinabantwana sinemindeni kufanele sibuye kubo? But thina we are worried. Angaze ke ngibizwe mina kuthiwe asambeni siye ku training. Come, let's go to a workshop, so that at least ease that tension esinayo kwathina that anxiety, you know, basize nje ukuthi basitshele ukuthi how do we deal with the difficulties, because we are trained for schooling, for academics, for ukudila nomntwana, we are trained, but we are not trained to protect abantwana from infecting each other, because umntwana mayengena lapha eklasini, the only thing that we have to consider manje engqondweni zethu, she could possibly have corona. You understand? Angam screen angithi already sebahagene from the gates. Sebahagene from the gates. We don't know what do we do. You understand? And most of the parents isibalalelayo, because I go ngiyolalela ama comments about my parents, they sound like they are saying it's your responsibility. You need to you are the teachers. It's your responsibility. This is not about that. This is not about that.
Ingane zabo. Abazazifindi emakwabo bakhathele. Zibakhiphe la ingane.
No sisibadle naye ngimzosho njalo uthi yena ubusy kwamele acabanga ukuthi ukhokhela kanjani abantu, but this is not about that, guys. This is about teaching abantwana and then also dealing with the academics. Yabona ngathini, is teaching abantwana and also protecting them. All we needed was time. We needed to be trained. We need to be confident in order to instill that confidence in those children. So that is our worry. It's not I miss my children. Every now and then in Kuluma Ngabo, you will find me imitating them. How they do in class, what they say, what they do, you understand? But I cannot. Right now I'm anxious. And I'm lazy. I have to protect them as well. And Magati, all of us are going to school. I've got umntwana oka grade R, and I have to go on Monday. Who am I going to leave my child with? Because akasichazelanga ukuthi thina laba bethu abantwana siza namsebenzini, what do we do? Yayibona? So kwathina is like lento lena, we feel ukuthi sicela usinikeze isikhathi asihlaleni phansi sikhulume, let us get trained, let us prepare. Right now you are doing things hasty and awuzwisisi usibangisa imali. You understand? Ngithe la kini just earlier on ku comment, azange ke simbangise thina uminister ukuthi alale ku parliament bayalala. And for the first time in South Africa, it's the first time sibabona basebenza. Kushintsha-shintshwana ngabe TV kuvela lo for the first time in my life. Ngibabona ukuthi cha bayasebenza. Angaze ke ngicomplain ukuthi bebahola bangasebenzi. So
nabo bayasaba eParliament. Akube neParliament bevula izikole, mina ngisho njalo. Yebo sibahle
ngoba sengizocela go out. Cindy, your points are very, very valid, sis. Absolutely valid. Elami limi ekutheni izingane ezandleni zathisha nezomzali ziyafundiseka. njengoba ihleze zibuye ekhaya zisitshela ukuthi umembani unasinto umembani uthe same thing. I like your point, is very valid, Eti. You are not emotionally ready. Yabona ke that argument is the only one I can accept, because we are missing the point. We are seeming to assume that kuthiwe nazi ingane ezine corona azihambe ziye esikoleni. The minister specifically said there is no sick child that is going to go to school. Uyayibona already esikoleni sinazi ingane ezino chronic bazo ezidla medication, of which abanye othisha they were I believe ukuthi isikole kuba nothisha allocatewayo usohlala kahle wesikole. This teacher is still ohanjisiwe wayo trainer nani. Uyabona asiyibeke leyo case aside. This current case your COVID, there is not going to be a child ezoza esikoleni igula. Kushiwo njalo kuthiwa you are not anikezwe ingane egulayo, kuthiwa ingane healthy azihambe eziye esikoleni futhi hayi zonke. The only problem, that is why ngisho ngithi mina there will not going to be a solution esiyutha wonke umuntu. Njengoba usho nje unengane wena yakho efunda ugrade R kodwa wena uthisha grade 7, ugrade R uvaliwe, ingane yakho ibifunda uhamba uyilanda eaftercare uma usubuye emsebenzini. Kuthiwanike ngaleyo situation. Now that is where we come in, guys. Let us not be as a society engenawo ama solutions. Wena ezumzali ucabanga ukuthi athi asibeke nathi etafuleni izinto ezingadla, because ekugcineni guys the show must go on. Kumele sifunde isizwe, the economy must run. I have a friend essential, ingane yakhe aka uhlala yedwa, ingane yakhe ihlala la kwami mesebenza night shift. That is a solution. We understand. She could have said, listen, angizuza angicabanga dokotela akazuye esibhedlela ayolapha abantu beCovid ngoba kanayo umuntu ozogada ingane yakhe. Is that not selfish? Angithi sesothi they made a pledge nurse bathi bazolapha abantu. Nayo situation efana neyakho thisha, naye kufanele ayolapha esibhedlela kodwa kanayo umuntu ngoba kuthiwe onina bagoduke baye ekhaya, ingane yakhe ayifuni. Ordinarily ibikade esikoleni inomuntu wantambama, manje ayisayi esikoleni. Uyayibona leyo. So the cases are all the same. All we are saying is that let us be a community efuna ama solutions. Let us not siyaweza ama problems kodwa wena Sindi mucabanga siyabeka ke manje ngithi we all siya deliberate manje. Ucabangani wena Sindi singenze njani ngalabo grade R bama bafuneke bahlale? You understand? Ngiyawathanda ama point akho, or they are so valid, they are realistic. Kakhulukazi le emotional. Teachers are not emotionally ready nabo bayasaba ngokwabo. Let us encourage counseling kathisha. Let us encourage training. Let us encourage proper information. To filter the fake noise around this thing. You understand? Lay a creative fear. That is why everybody is on a state of fear right now. We are born people who can't afford to even stay home. In companies zabo ivuliwe, bathi asiyi lapho siyofa. Badlelwe imizi, badlelwe imoto. You understand? Because of the state of fear. Uma usimbuza ke, okay, ungakwenza ukuthi ekhaya angiyazi computer ukwazi ungitrainele icomputer. You understand? We need to stop being this nation that is so anti-progress. We are so regressive. It's tiring. Umuntu mebekelile kufana nalabantu laba othi mawuthi kuyaqashwa kamasipala baxosha iphepha athi sengibona ngamane ngihlala ekhaya. Uyayazi leyo genge leyo ikhona, as parents, as teachers, as a community, for the benefits of the child. Asibadayisi.
Noma muthi kuyaqashwa bathi hayi ukuthi advertisewa kusuke sekwaziwa ukuthi kuzoqashwa bani. Angeke ngiwaste ngisho isikhathi sami. So othisha babantu nabo guys, othisha banama fears abo nabo guys, kunothisha who've lost family members due to COVID-19 during this lockdown. Othisha nabo banezifo abangafuni ukuyidisclose ku principal, abanye othisha babangamadoda no principal, so I'm not going to sit with uprincipal ngimtshela indaba zami personal, ngimtshela izifo zami, isifo sami esami nodokotela wami. Othisha abanye they don't teach from home, abanye bahamba nge-public transport, abanye bahlala emqashweni, which means now I must leave my family, go back to eShowe emqashweni. So there are so many things. I like uSindi uma ethi we were not consulted. Othisha bazona imbuzo ekuthiwa ngenani esibayeni, phumani esibayeni. They are professionals who need to be respected, who need to be consulted. Othisha ibona bangena eklasini, ibona ba-understand ibona ba-understand ama-conditions that they go through. So they need to be consulted. Inkinga, angithi uthi
phela othisha izwi labo lihanjiswa i-union. The union spoke for them. They were consulted i-union. Phela ngeke bakhulume bonke angithi bakhuluma via i-union.
Even if engakaconsultanga. And also uthisha ofundisa in a private school, nothisha ofundisa emakhaya emaqaqasini, nothisha ofundisa kwamasho, they are not going through the same thing. Khona uthisha osadila nokuthi le ngane every year nge-winter inalo ijezi, and we must not forget that we're going towards winter. Khona uthisha osadila nokuthi le ngane ihlala inuka umchamo, so ivele emzini owubunuku. Lo thisha fanele avumele leyo ngane futhi ukuthi ize eklasini. Senze njani? Do we say vele nina niyidomu noma ningangeze eklasini vele ngenifundele ukuthi nilonzo sibangela isicefe la hambani. U2 meter lo shiwoyo. Mase zidressile ingane idressele ukudla ke during isikhathi sokudla. Uyawazi u2 minutes ukuthi menime outside a supermarket no 20. Ukuthi nibabaningi kanjani ngoba fanele ubekwe lo 2 minutes. Are we going to be able to do that? Sizokwazi ukwenza lokho. 2, i-COVID ayisona ayifani nezingcemu ukuthi meqhamuka umuntu uthi awunezingcemu lo. Ayibonakali immediately. So noma ungangichecka manje, mhlawumbe ungichecka nje ngiyitholile 10 minutes ago. Kodwa kuzobonakala. That's why it's a quarantine for 7 to 14 days, which means it can start showing itself in 7 to 14 days. But in those 7 to 14 days, usuke usuqalile wena uyifakela abanye. Ayiqali futhi ukufakela abanye just because isiyabonakala. So what do we do kulawo situations?
Nitha kwenziwe njani? Senwabeke wonke ama-situations.
Let us consider health. Health comes before education. For mina vele nje izingane zethu ziyaqeda o-matric zihlala emakhaya, zihleli namajazi emakhaya. We need to sit as a country and have realistic solutions. We are too divided in terms of our economy and what we can afford. Nangu siphe phakamisana
for another day.
Yebo Sipho.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Cindy. Your points are very true and they're valid. And yeah, and I'm glad they are coming from somebody who is a teacher, so you understand this sector very well. Because I mean, from my side, I'm talking from the parents' perspective. And guys, njoba ngishilo nje mina lami lilodwa and ngivumelana nawe sisithenjiwe ukuthi the health should come first than education, because as I said ukuthi I mean I don't think we are ready as parents to send kids to school which is yoshona, because I mean mayitholele corona zizoshona, we don't have a cure at the moment. So it's better ukuthi zingayi at all. Mhlambe into engenzeka, because njoba ngishilo nje mangena ukuthi we need to just look at this in so many ways, in so many angles, because I mean, you understand there are so many things affecting kwathina as abazali affected in some of the things. Imali is flowing ngendlela ebiflow ngayo yabo. So but ingane guys, like seriously, I don't think we are ready as South Africa, and we don't even have enough resources. I mean, and imagine schools that are in rural areas. What's going to happen there? I mean, this service is going to cover all those schools. I don't think so. So guys, I think okay, it's fine if we economy and mhlambe kulokwehla kwama levels abazali bengaya mhlambe emsebenzini nani because bona at least ucabanga kwaba kufani nokuyingane. So but I mean allowing school to go back to school, guys, at the moment, no, I don't think it's the right thing.
Hey, siyabonga siyezwa Sipho. Mina ke i-advice njengayinika othisha Nkosi yami bayongikhumbula ke nami mase beqala benza i-profit. Thathani izitifiketi zeingane noyibhala komasingcwabisane khona nizokwenza okuncane uma seyiqala ihambe emhlabeni one by one. We're talking about countries bemba ama-mass graves, which means they know ukuthi this thing isazokwanda, this thing isazoshaya ibhuqe. Ngicela ukungenisa uSli, nangu uSli naye ezosijoyina. Okay, uzongena kushuthi usalungisa indaba yefoni. Uba uphakamisile, yes Cindy.
Hayi ngiyavuma sisibahle ngicabanga ukuthi lokhu bekufuna kube kokuqala lokho ukuthi senza kanjani lento le bekucathi bekufuna ngasiqale ngayo le emuva le yes besinama representative but njengoba basho sisithenjiwe abakhulumeli wonke umuntu and abekho eclassini lami angimazi nomuntu oye lapha ukuthi u grade R na so mina yabona akangirepresentanga ngalendlela lengidinga ukurepresentwa ngayo so mina bengisacabanga ukuthi no ikhona enye indlela esingayenza ngayo ukuthi uminister ashifte kancane sicale siswe ku training sigene that training and then in the meantime ne winter iyandlula because right now I have been thinking ukuthi no thina njengami nje bazothi ngiyofaka ka grade 7 because ngi extra and then ngama ngifika grade 7 you cannot speak with the mask on so obviously I have to take off the mask and then mhlawumbe ngitholele this microphone thing ne then I'm going to try and speak through that microphone so that the children can hear me, whatever that engizobe. Immediately when I leave the class, that grade 7 boy, you take this one and then they're going to laugh it off and then the other one is going to take the same mask. I mean, the same microphone and then the other one, they're taking off their mask in that meantime. I understand, Alendo. Just imagine that. This is what we deal with on a daily basis. And then they're going to shake and pretend to be me. It's so... somehow it is of disadvantages of which they never considered. So Tina, what I'm saying, I had a picture yoguti, let us go to work, yes, and then basni as a class too, and then we speak to the parents somehow, or rather, no SAPC 1 channel. Not everyone is that privileged, but like SAPC 1 channel, and then we will teach children. We explain. And then the parents monitor na and then this drop off yama homework books where we're gonna mark and then the parents will come and pick from that drop off box. At least I can sanitize the book and then before me marker and so will the parents in the so Tina at the same time Tina says I don't know, it's just a suggestion. Maybe we could do something like that.
Ngingasibuki mina isibaya ngoba ingane efanele ibuke usinde fundisa uba uzokhokhela idrosi wakwami mina ikhadi lami rand elingilast inyanga yonke sekuzoba khona ekufanele ngilithengele ukuthi usinde afundise izingane zami
ekseni
hayi ngifuna ukubuka irepeat yozalo mina ekseni ngifuna ukubuka umanqoba ingane nje ezohlala la number 2 ifundayo ngoba ezami zu5 ifunda ama grade ahlukene Number 4 kwaleyo TV okhuluma ngayo njoba kwamina ngimile nje emsebenzini idliwe anginayo nemali yokuyithanda asithengeleke ama TV uhulumeni yebo noxolo
yo
yebo okay ukhona engifuna ukudlula khona sisi usibani athi sikufanele size nama solutions.
Yes.
Okay. Ezinye izinto la esizishoyo mayelana nokwesaba ukuphindela emsebenzini. Siyazikhumbula izingane emsebenzini siyafuna ukuphindela khona. Inkinga yethu especially nje enza semakhaya. Kunezinto uhulumeni angakuzmitha. Mekuziwa ngakuthini. Ahlezi esithembisa sinovalo ke lokuthi kulokuthembisa kwakhe njalo angakaze kuze kufezeke kuba iminyaka uthi ngalo nyaka uhulumeni usithembise lento wakhona uthola ukuthi kuphela unyaka into ayibi khona kuba unyaka olandelayo athembise phinde futhi kungabi khona sinovalo ukuthi uzokwenza leyo ukuthi uzokwenza into efanayo athi ama sanitizer uzowakhipha kuba ukuthi usuku nosuku izingane za screen nathi sa screen usuku nosuku kodwa ekugcineni kothi kuphela inyanga iyobe ingasenzeki lonto ngoba ujwayele ukuthembisa abese angawenza umsebenzi wakhe uphele unyaka zingeke incwadi esikoleni kuphele unyaka isikole singabiyi uthi bese isikole kwangena izigebengu za vandalize kwenzeka noma yini esikoleni kodwa ukuthi akasibiyi isikole mekufanele ukuthi akaqashe security elizogada lapha esikoleni usewasho uzosho nje ngomlomo kube kuphelile sethembe nathi njengothisha yebo siyavuma siyakwemukela okuzokwenzeka athi nje mhlambe kuzophela u2 weeks yonke lento yenzekile kodwa ingenzeki namanje esona sizathu esenza ukuthi sibe abantu esithi we are not ready to go back to school. It's because siyamazi uthembisa izinto angazenzi. Azikho kumanje izincwadi esikoleni abantu share. Useshilo wathi izincwadi uzozikhipha. Ama-desk abantwana edeskeni esikoleni sasemakhaya bahlala nga3 kwi-desk elilodwa. Siyavuma-ke sithi-ke esikoleni kuzokwenzakalani ingoba i-grade ne-grade akuzuya bonke abantu esikoleni kodwa into ezincwadi izothini kuzokwenzakalani mayelana nezincwadi
futhi bathi
zizobe sezifikile njengokuhleze ethembisa koze kuphela unyaka koqale nomunye uphinde uphele ujwayele ukusithembisa siyakwazi ukuhlalela ethembeni simlindile uhulumeni ukuthi akadelive but angadelive siqhamuke namaplani senze something yebo
ama-sanitary towels ekwathenjiswa wona ey'koleni asafika noma nawo sisawalindile ngoba kwathiwa zonke iy'ngane seyizothola ama-sanitary pad. Kodwa-ke sisazowuphendula nje lowo mbuzo ngicela welcome uSlee asibingelele asho ukuthi ulana as a parent or ulana as umzali or ulana as mhlawumbe uMinister of Education nje uSlee. Slee, i-mic yakho umute-kile. Yes, Slee.
My question is very bad. I can hardly hear.
Uyangizwa Slee? Slee? Hello?
My connection now is very bad. I can hardly hear you.
Khuluma siyakuzwa. Slee, khuluma siyakuzwa. Okay. Guys, can someone tell us to khuluma mhlambe mina
Khuluma Slee, we can hear you sister, you can hear, you can talk. Just keep on talking, we'll hear you. We'll be able to hear you sister.
Siyakuzwa Slee, khuluma.
Her mic is muted now.
So she'll have to unmute it.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's ready,
Yeah.
I think.
Slee?
Now she froze.
Slee? Hello? Sengithi ingane izogqoka ama-mask sithathelwa i-technology sibadala kangaka.
Yeah. No, Enzima, this thing is very difficult. Lee, we can hear you. We can talk, sister.
Ayabatshela abantu ukuthi ngi-live.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you.
Siyakuzwa Slee.
Oh. Okay, I can hear you. Okay, what was the question?
Sonja, the main question, ukuthi wena, do you think we are ready for children to go back to school? Children and teachers, are they ready to go back to school? Oh,
I don't think you said ready. So okay, I understand. Like, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't think it's ready. And for me, I just feel I feel sorry for Ingane because now it's sesiqala winter and.
Mm-hmm.
And njengoba kuzoqala iwinter nje, I mean ingekho icorona kuba nomkhuhlane nayo yonke into, so I don't really think ukuthi it's really the good time ukuthi sengavula. Maybe if mhlambe bese kuqala isama bekungaba ngconywana because sekuzobe sekushisa, you know. So I don't know, but I don't feel comfortable sending my kids to school.
Yo, guys, inzima le ndaba ngoba nayo lento yo-online working. I-UNISA yahlula izalukwazi namakhehla. So, iy'ngane zethu-ke zizoba yini? Number 2, not everyone can afford i-technology. Futhi ngabe sidlala ngohulumeni. Bese sizothi akathengele yonke ingane i-iPad, akathengele yonke ingane i-airtime. Ngabe sidlala ngohulumeni. Abanye abazali are looking at teachers as their babysitters. They just want a way to get rid of iy'ngane. Ziyahlupha bonazo. Ziyahlupha emakhaya. Abanye bayazi ukuthi the only time they can do ihlofihlofu nabantu babo because bahleli ko-one room is while the children are at school. So ingakho sebedusha iy'ngane bese abahambe lapha ngoba manje mebelo behleli la ekhaya asisakwazi ukwenza iy'nto zethu. So nje
baqeda isinkwa.
Kukhalwa ngokudla. Oh, mubuza abazali ukuthi sekujahwe, hey, sengipheka kathathu ngosuku. Mina, I do not want to lie, ngiyasaba because numbers are not going down. Numbers are going up. And yes, we are grateful ukuthi siletheliwe nodokotela, siletheliwe nodokotela base-Cube. Basa-confused nje nabo abantu abasabuza ukuthi what's going on here? Besadidwa i-Kiss Madolo. Ziningi izinto ey'sazobadida nje South Africa. Bacabanga ukuthi amasayini e-corona. Bathi abantu be-corona, hayibo, it makes your face look a different color than the rest of your body kanti thina siyayikhrimela e-Africa. So wabona nje basadinga ukutrainwa, abekho ready. Because ama-symptoms awakwabi confirmed ukuthi how do you really see umuntu onayo le shandisi. Wena Sibadla, if your mother was still a teacher, would you say, ma, it's time to go to school? Yes.
Definitely. Yabona-ke ukhethe i-example e-wrong. Umama wayedela kufa. Imoto yakhe these days ithi akufo fayo kusalo salayo. That's my mother. So ukhethe wrong because my mother my mother ngichazelile. She used to carry Vaseline into betadine eyolapha iy'londa zey'ngane zasemafamu esingazazi. Abuye sithi njengoba usho nje asixoxele ngey'londa. Hey, ave sesiphola kamnandi isilonda sikasibanibani. Izinto esingahlangene nazo iy'ndaba zasesikoleni. So uma wami u-wrong useshilo vele wathi akufo ofayo kusalayo. Sizoloko esigoda abantu endlini efune ngabe bayaphuma bathathwe i-corona sala abaphilayo. Manje i-lockdown ile inkinga. Abaphuma abantu i-corona ithathe abayo.
Ithathe bathathayo. Mhlambe that's the only. Mhlambe mithatha uhalf nje or nathi we can get the land.
Uyabona nje. Jokes aside, guys, there will never be a solution that is going to be comfortable for everyone. But from the teacher's perspective, teachers need support emotionally and otherwise. Utisha akahole for all the teachers ababelethisa iy'ngane zethu ey'khulelwe esihluleke ukufundisa. It's their time ukuthi bahole. I'm for that. Bese sinxusa uhulumeni wethu, please ake nenze kahle to us taxpayers, honest citizens. Kuyadabukisa ukuthi iy'ngane zethu ezimnyama azinayo incwadi. Zihlala nga-3 emabhentshini. Vele izinto siyazibona. Njoba sibona namanje iy'ngane y'sawela umfula ngo-2020 kodwa imali yebhlorho yayiphumile. So we are appealing to our government. Let's put our leaders first. And othisha, they are going to be the pioneers. Believe me, lento izolungisa othisha. Ngoba uthisha is low. Ngeke uyiphikise into eshiyo uthisha. So if we don't support the teachers and give them the support that they are asking for, vele ngeke siyiwine lento. Othisha kusasa uma ngase bethi zingane zethu siye esikoleni niyazi, asiyisabi i-corona niyazi, ingane eziwe esikoleni because iy'ngane they believe in the teachers. So yes, we need to support the teachers, give them everything that they're asking for, reasonable, affordayo as a third world country, and then we need to forge forward. Asikwazi ukusala kakhulu, already we are crippled as a country. Asikwazi ukusala kakhulu. I-gap is getting wider and wider.
Yeah. Hello.
Sikon.
Oh yes. No, no, ngiyakuzwa sis, and ngiyakwazi nama-point wakho, but it's fine. Mina from my side, I say i-gap ingaba khona as long as sizophila, because if sizojaha ukuthi sivale i-gap and we only find that our kids are dying and our family members are dying, and it's gonna be a problem. And I think maybe one of the solutions probably government need to consider is that maybe they need to come up with using this money that they're gonna use to buy all the sanitizers, behamba bayo sanitize school, and I think they need to come up with a program whereby probably they would sit down with the SABC, with SABC Petrobon, and also they sit down with these service providers, the network service providers, ukuthi kwenziwe lento yama online learning, because I think at the moment, guys, I mean, that's the only way. I know ukuthi even that online learning program, it doesn't cover everyone. It doesn't cater for kids who are from the rural areas. There are so many things, so many aspects. During a network, you'll find that in some rural areas, network coverage is very, very bad, even if they will try and provide the technology, but still ngeke ikwazi cover. But I think if ungase government ahlale nama service providers, probably something will come up kunokuthi sithathe omama bethu nosisi bethu othisha sithabaya esikoleni beyoba exposed to into kanje, because njengoba ngisho guys, we can't control ukuthi kwenzekani kwamanye ama-families, and the kids that are coming from those families befika naleni, because kunzima lento ayibonakali. Bekuzoba ngcono only if you can see ukuthi okay lo uphethe corona then umbuyisele eceleni or whatsoever, but right now we can't even see, and there's no cure for this thing. Nokuthi bafa abantwana bethu, afa ama-families. I think, you know, fanele kuzanywe enye indlela njenganayo nje ukuthi kwenze uthathe othisha mhlambe bahambe bayofundisa ku-TV, and then ama-families and parents bahlale emakhaya, you know, basiza abantwana, kusetshenziswe le mali le bezo-sanitizer probably to sponsor kids nge-airtime and data. And I think maybe service providers, probably something would come up, because guys, like abantu bashone because of ukuthi sithi ba igap yavuleka ukuthi baye esikoleni bafunde. I mean, no, gogo babengafundile. Yes, I promote education. Education is very, very important, but guys, it's not important than impilo.
Maybe this situation as Exona and this time esinayo is time to also have a kuma-syllabus sethu manzethu ye ukufunda ngo-Ryan van Riebeeck ke sifunde ne-African history, sike sishintshe into ey'ningi nje ey-wrong nge-education system yethu. Umuntu omnyama naye akazazi ukuthi ubani uvelaphi, sifunde nanezinto ezokwazi ukubondla in the future. Maybe it's time to put izinto ey'njengo-gardening no-agriculture back esikoleni, ukuze ukube ingane kuthiwa noma ihlele ekhaya manje kodwa ziney'ngadi eziy'tshalayo, ukuthi ngiyazi ukuthi uma usamile emsebenzini kodwa ngizositshala isipinashi ukuze sidle la ekhaya, ukube iy'ngane ziyakwazi ukusebenzisa ikwenza imisebenzi yezandla. All those things that we used to have engasekho. Iy'ngane fanele amantombazane afunde ukuluka, afunde ukulukana, afunde not ukoluka kwesiXhosa, not lokho. Ukuluka to do the hair. We need to go back to being able to do things ngezandla zethu, so that should we be faced with such a thing, because some of us vele go through i-lockdown nje vele kungekho lockdown emhlabeni, because vele khona thina sesingakhali khona bawomahlalela vele, so who are already on lockdown ngisho kungekho lutho, and it's not because bayathanda, and njengoba senihlele emakhaya nani seniyabona ukuthi kanti kunzima kanje ukuhlala ekhaya. So those people we need to ukufaka ama-skills guys kwi-education system yethu. Si-weak nje sebenzela ngo-2020 we shouldn't be working for uqasho umlungu. Indaba yokuthi umuntu usasebenzela ufundela company, we need ukuthi iy'ngane zethu uyifundele ukuvula iy'nto zabo. I'm worried about education yethu kwamanje.
And right now, I'm still waiting for my 350. So I haven't received. I applied through WhatsApp. I applied through email. I haven't received any response. So I haven't received any, maybe e-wallet or e-cash send and stuff. So if they say they will provide all these sanitizers and the equipment that we need, you know, to protect our kids. So kuzokwenza kanjani? Because besahlula njengoba eshilo nje umama noxolo ukuthi yes, government uyapromise and stuff, but akakwazi ukuthi apushe i-service ngesikhathi esifanayo to every school. So kuzokwenza kanjani? Sizolinda sibe singcwaba ngapha and usalinde ugovernment afike alethe lezinto. because guys, it's not guaranteed. Gucci, maybe let's say on the 1st of June, every school will receive everything that they need.
Yebo noqala.
Kuse lapho nje ngicabanga ukuthi wonke umuntu uyakhumbula ukuthi simzwile sonke umama enje ukuthi uthini. Uthe uzwa amanzi ngobhoko, which means uzwa amanzi ngobhoko ngani? Ngothisha bonke nezingane lezi ugrade 12 no grade 7. Into esho ukuthi uma ethi uzwa amanzi kusho ukuthi uma ukuthi kuyemukisa lapho kunomsinga siyashona sonke hamba. Bese abasele ngemuva benze njani? Sekuyahlelwa ke manje akuphindele back kwini ku drawing board kuyobheka ukuthi kumele kwenziwe njani. Kodwa thina njani sesingasekho. Abenze kuyikona. Abaphindele eParliament sibone ukuthi kuyasetshenzwa ngempela. Nabo bangabambi la meeting ababambayo kube o2 o3 afuna labo bantu relevant kuleyo nto ababe nama meeting asibabone nje behleli kukhona nje omalema nje umalema sidudulane nje sibone impela kunzima impela kuyasetshenzwa ukuze nathi sizobona njengothisha ukuthi ngempela baqashi bethu basikhathalele kangakanani not ukuthi umama enje sitshela ukuthi uzwa amanzi ngobhoko. Uzwa amanzi ngobhoko kusho ukuthi kahle kahle ubulala thina nalezi ingane zokuqala esizwana zezikoleni ngoba ngempela kusazosuka izingane ezisuka kude kusazothi kusuka othisha abasuka kude okusangenzeka ukuthi endleleni beza ngala bazoyithola lento bafike futhi benze njani kusithelelane sodwa ngaphakathi lawo manzi nobhoko sekwenze njani asingayikhaleli lokuthi izingane ziyadlala elokishini akukho umuntu ofikayo ziyazidlalela nje vele ingane elokishini okay leyo nto ayikhalisi angifikanga mina umuntu osuka kuphi eGoli ngoba kunalezi ndawo ngithi ngempela ezinjani ekuyizona ezinzima kakhulu iGoli bani Eastern Cape manje ke ingane ukuthi besivele zidlala phela sesibonile phela ukuthi vele asitheleleki nje aziqhubeka zidlaleke kodwa ukusuka kwami ngimdala ngisuka le kude kusengenzeka ukuthi ngifike nesifo ngizobulala izingane zabantu kade zihlalele emakhaya zingenalutho. Sicela bandla ugovernment asicabangele asiphindele konke akaphinde nakakaphinde 2 weeks nje bese siyalandela ke emva kwalokho.
Yeah, ne? And Mina also the problem I see is that this whole thing has had a knock-on effect kwi-economy. Khona umzali ngempela oluze umsebenzi, khona umzali osehola u50%. Sithini kulowo mzali sithi uyithatha phi imali to send ingane back to school. We know ukuthi a lot of the children basemalokishini, especially laba abazali abazama ukubayisa ezikoleni esithi izikole ezingcono, which we should look into in 2020 ukuthi sayise ingane zethu ezikoleni zezinye inhlanga ukuze zibe ngcono, which says a lot about the black government who is not giving the same quality of schools and education to abantu abamnyama abamvotelayo. Khona izingane ezivuka ngo4 uma esikoleni zilandwe imoto kamalume zimbondelene ngathi osayidinsi phakathi ziya esikoleni zibuye 7. What are we saying about those children? It's all good if ingane yakho uhlala kuma-suburbs walk 5 minutes to go to school, but a majority of black children do not have that advantage. So Mina, I think this is the time to look into amaphutha esiwenzile as a black race in South Africa in ignoring improve indawo zethu, in not having private schools ey'ndaweni zabantu abamnyama, in still saying ngifunde belungwini, in still saying mina ingane yami ifunde eMandiyeni, mina ingane yami ifunde eMakhaladini. Maybe this is time to improve education and facilities, because isikole esikwaMashu nesikole esedurban North ungathi zikuma countries awu2 ahlukene. EzakwaMashu were not even built to have parking yeyimoto for othisha, because uthisha omnyama wayengacatshangeliwe ukuthi one day uyothenga imoto. Cindy, please unmute your mic.
Yebo sithini. Hayi cha nokho ngivumelana nawe. I think sibe nephutha sigijimise angazi ufuna ukuthi ukuduma yini. ne-status nakho mhlampe sometimes ukuthi sibe motivated for ngokufuna imfundo engcono for iy'ngane zethu, only to find out ukuthi right now the situation ayisasisizi ngoba kukhona vele abazali abathula
on the first because bobe besawuhola ground.
but at the same time manje akasakwazi ukummikisa because lo we-staff uzofuna imali ye-transport. Before athatha umntwana uzofuna imali ye-transport and akasukuhleka uzokhuphula ngenxa yokuthi abantwana sekufuna babe bancane emotweni yakhe. So leyo ngane leyo might miss the chance to even come back to school. Kumele bayothenga uniform. Kuyabanda manje, they must go bathenga amabhruko, bathenga impahla eziwomo, bathenge all these things abazali. But they seem prepared. We don't have a problem. They look prepared. Asazi noma yibo bonke aba prepared na ngoba somehow nokubezwa ngazuthi manje ngathini i-health yabantwana babo is not so much important, but into ebalekile ukuthi uthisha ufundele ukuthi afundise umntanakhe, so akazukukhokhela mahala. Uyabona, this is nakhona yini imali phezulu, sebabeka imali phezulu. So yeah, we I don't know how we're gonna solve this part, how we're gonna really support each other kulento lena, but I think siyenze wrong mampela, and only to find out ukuthi abantwana that are actually in public schools, I can tell you now, Thenjiwe, ibona bathole education engcono. From what I have observed as a teacher, abothisha bakulawo ikolo lezi eselokishini bayafundisa laba bantu. Firstly, akuchashi umuntu ongafundanga lapha. Angithi manje they don't have money to pay abantu GP, so obviously everyone ongena kule system ufuna ngene ngephepha, which is different from le ikolo lezi ezinye, uyayibona? And labantu laba beza ngokuthi bazofundisa, uyayibona leyo nto leyo. So yeah, I don't know, bazali bahambe bayobheka nalokho.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sis Cindy. I think maybe one of the solutions, again, probably there's something that I just thought about, Uti. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes. I think one of the mistakes that we do, I'll also involve myself, is that when we're trying to come up with solutions, we don't consider, all the stakeholders. I think Beme plan this thing, they were supposed to consult teachers and parents, so that we're just gonna sit down together and then discuss the way forward in this regard. Because right now, guys, we can't really say or accept whatever the government I show you, because these are our kids. Yes, it's important for the country, it's important for them as well, for their future. But now, ubani umzali ozovumela ukuthi ukushiwa ingane njengamanje? I think probably they need to go back, get back to the drawing table, and they also include all the stakeholders. And then from there, I think a solution might come out.
Noxolo uthini wena lapha? Sesizovalelisa nje.
Ngicela ukungena
Asizwe Noxolo ukuthi uthini. Okay, Cindy.
Kunalento angazi noma ngikhumbula kahle, kwakuthiwe othisha they're gonna be tested first. They said ukuthi abothisha they're gonna be tested before baye emsebenzini. Angazi noma sisinoxolo uyayikhumbula into enjalo na. Kwathiwa sizotestwa before siye emsebenzini ukuze kwazi ukuthi lo thisha leyo ungani and all that. Uyakhumbula leyo nto leyo. But up now ayisakhulu njalo, sekuthiwa asibuyele emsebenzini sichashiwe. Uyayibona leyo nto. So angazi ukuthi kwenzeke kanjani kulokho.
I think Cindy,
guys,
I think Cindy, maybe the reason why, because remember when this thing started, right? Nobody had proper information ukuthi kahle kahle the corona le hamba ifike yabona. So they were all saying izinto eziningi nama conspiracies and stuff, but lokho ukuthi nina nizotesta noma uthisha bazotesta, nami ngiyakhumbula ukuthi ngakuzwa ukuthi kuzokwenzeka before kuyele esikoleni, and yenza sense futhi ukuthi kube kanjalo. But now since we implement zonke lezi zinto ekhona, I think even our leaders right now, they are not too sure. They are really sort of confused ukuthi kahle kahle yini or what can be the best solution for this thing. Ingakho ngithi mhlambe mase kuthiwa kuhlanganiswa nje bonke abantu, involve ama-parents, teachers, and then the leaders, our government, and probably kungaba khona solution, because you guys as teachers, you speak on behalf of the teacher, from the teacher's perspective, and also us as parents will speak on the parents' perspective, you know, and also the leaders, and then hlale sonke, because le country le eyethu sonke esikuyona.
Mina-ke guys, my main concern when it comes to South Africa is that we rule, or we are ruled by copying and pasting solutions from Western countries for African problems. When you say all schools in South Africa, you are lying to us and yourself, because we are living totally different. How the other half lives is totally different from how the other half lives. So you cannot address a school in Sentin and give them the same solution as a school is Senkandla or a school is Semlad or Gamash. We must accept that we still are going through a division, and unfortunately it is still the black race that is at a disadvantage. So let us stop pretending that as South Africa we are living under equality. We are not equal. Our problems are not equal. Our backgrounds are not equal. Our financial standing is not equal. So we must stop pretending ukuthi when I address Mrs. Dlamini ofundisa emakhaya, I must address her and give her the same solution as Mrs. Van Wyk ofundisa eMasgrave. Even the parents that you guys deal with are totally different from the parents that someone who teaches a girls' high is going through, a Saint Banban. So we need to consider those things. Let us stop copying and pasting American solutions to African problems. That is the problem I have. Why are we addressing as if we are all going through the same things? Even the structure of our schools, even those that are not vandalized, still a black school was not built in the same structure. And to think that 26 years later, after we first got freedom, we are still talking about schools. Now I'm a toilet flash. We are still talking about schools. Now I'm a running water. I think those are the problems we have, which are more important right now than children going back to school. This is the time. I think Mother Nature, by having this lockdown, will better look at yourselves as people. Even in Zethu, we are sitting and looking at the that we need to get rid of. People who have big houses are now able to get into the rooms. So now let us spring clean our system of ruling a country. There are so many problems that are more important now. And I do not see how ukubuyela eskoleni contributes to the economy. It's at least not in short term.
Yes.
And majority of black children bangene with public transport maybe eskoleni.
Yes.
So I mean that's where I come from. Why are we being addressed as if we are going through the same problem when we are not? No, call. Before Julo.
Okay. Okuningi la uphilo kuyiqiniso. Ingane yomuntu omnyama ayibhekeleleki, ingane yasemakhaya ayibhekeleleki, ingane yomuntu engenayo imali yokufundisa ingane yakhe edolobheni ayibhekeleleki. Isystem ye-education njengamanje ivuna kuphela lezi ngane ezihlala kuphi kuma-suburbs, laba abadla izambane likabani lika-100. Thina nje esizidlela leli mbiwe la engadini esizitshalele lona kunzima, impilo inzima. Kahle, we are breathing through the wound. Ngingeve ngisho kuba Dlamini lo wami. Okay. Siyavuma-ke emsebenzini sizoya. Elami lokugcina lelo. Siyavuma emsebenzini sizoya ngokuthi umqashi asiye emsebenzini. Kukuyena ukuthi wenze njani. Ufuna sife noma ufuna siphile. Izimpilo zethu ezandleni zakhe. Ngiyabonga.
Mhlambe amazwi okugcina nje guys. Thank you so much Sis Thenjiwe for this channel and also coming up for about this topic, and it's very important, I think, to every South African, because I think izinto esikhuluma ngazo kuma household right now since kushiwo ukuthi ayingane azibuyele esikoleni. Yes, ekugcineni njengothisha njengabasebenzi bahulumeni kumele babuyele esikoleni because nabo bayayidinga imali, because you never know ukuthi mhlambe makuthiwa bathi ababuyeli kuzokwenzekani. And njengamanje baningi abantu esesibabonile asebelahlekelwe imisebenzi, yabo. So it's fine ababuyele njengoba besho nje, but impilo zethu I think kufanele zihambe phambili.
Ngicela ukukhatha nje, I want to make something clear. When it comes to isalary yathisha, ithathwa kwi-tax yomsebenzi. So whether they go back or not, it doesn't matter. Ngaphandle kothisha base-private school abathola imali from what our parents are paying towards school fees. Akufani nomuntu osebenza e-supermarket ozothi umlungu if ungivalile e-supermarket, people are not buying, so I cannot pay you. Uthisha vele nje must be paid whether we go back to school or not, because government is still making the money ekhokhela uthisha whether kuyayiwa esikoleni noma kiwo. So isalary yathisha should not even be part of inkinga nge-solution. Yabonga.
I agree with you, Sis Thenjiwe, but the problem sekuthenini who hired uthisha. So what if they decide to terminate the contract whatsoever? I know ukuthi namamnyunyana and all that, but government angene uhire uthisha. Yes, uthisha but bathola imali or imasaralo abo aqhamuka kubasebenzi, kwi-tax. So amazwi ami okugcina guys ukuthi as parents we need to be very careful and also senze sure ukuthi abantwana bethu bavikelekile. Ngiyacabanga nje mina njengoba ngumuntu oyiqhamulela emakhaya embumbulu ukuthi la ngiqhamuka khona kuzokwenzekani kulezi izikole lezana, and abantwana abangakhona kuzokwenzeka kanjani. So lento le ibhlungu ngempela uma ukuthi ngempela izingane zizovele ziswe nje esikoleni njengezimbuzi ezikhishwe esibayeni. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ke sekusele kuthina bazali ukuthi mhlambe i-decision esiyithathayo yiphi, because ngiyacabanga ukuthi ngeke afike bezothatha umntwana ngenkani bathi bamise esikoleni uma ukuthi wena as umzali mhlambe ubona ngendlela obona ngayo, kodwa ama-decision esiwenzayo kuba ama-decision a-right ayaphambili.
Siyabonga, wayishaya kahle. Cindy, usuvalelisa nje wena uthini?
Nami ngithi hayi Sis Thenjiwe ngiyabonga kakhulu ukuthi sithole le platform yokuthi sikwazi ukushare this situation critically. Nami ngiyabonga, and engikucelayo kakhulu ebazalini ukuthi sicela ukwesekwa, kungasiko ukuthi umsebenzi wethu sasithi siza kuwe ngoba siwuthanda, and we were not driven by imali, and i-COVID le asiyicelanga futhi. So the situation is out of our control. Esicelayo kubazali sicela ukuthi ni-support, sizwiseni ukuthi no, we're not chasing your children away. All that we're saying ukuthi sicela ukuthi izinto zenziwe ngendlela ngesikhathi sikhona ukuthi sibambisaneni nathi sinikezwe leso sikhathi leso ukuthi sitrainwe, sibe equipped to sazi ukuthi okay, should this happen, what do I do? Njengamanje I'm gonna report for work on Monday, and from what I hear from principal yethu, there's really nobody that is there or prepared ukuthi asitshele ukuthi nako ke abantwana sebathintene, what do I do? Ngiba spraya nge-sanitizer or like what do I do? So all that we ask from abazali ukuthi sicela nisekeni, ningenzi ngazuthi this is a fight, this is not a battle, sonke fanele sibambisaneni. And then uhulumeni wethu mangabe nimlaleli sisize, kunento engizwisisa ibuhlungu izolo mayikhuluma la esethi iy'kole zizokuthithwa ukufana ngoba iy'kole ayifani. Kwaba ngazuthi ucapitalizer from that inequality esinayo ngey'kole. Kwaba ngathi like instead of trying to hide that fact ngoba vele akufanelanga kube njalo, but she said iy'kole zizokuthithwa ukufana, so lezi sinabantwana abancane siy'thitha different, so I was like so ashamed to listen to that from the Minister of Education. Wow, she's proud of that. But then sicela ukubambisana abazali, sibonga kakhulu Sis Thenjiwe, siyathemba abazali bazwile from us abothisha ukuthi no, asinankinga, lethana abantwana sibakhumbulile. But nakhona mzali akuwenza iduty yakho, ukhuluma nomntana wakho for umlethe esikolweni, because when she comes from school angayigqokanga imask, don't call me and shout at me. Khuluma nomntana wakho, explainele situation, umuzwe futhi, because all nabo they are anxious, nabo abanye they are depressed about this whole thing. Kwabona kokunye angeke beze nokuzwa ukuthi kufundiswane because bagade ukuthi bathintwa ubani. So please ake nikhulumeni nabantwana qala nizwe ukuthi bona bazizwa kanjani before you take this matter to us and blame us and yabona nishout ngazo siyabathanda abantwana, we love doing our job. Please assist us and help uminister ukuthi as-train, as-equipe sonke sibe ready to attack this thing. Sisonke.
You are saying parents must be responsible. Parents must send abantwana back to school with a mask and everything that is supposed to be right. Do you think this parent will be able to do that? Do you think this parent
No
will
way.
do that? Do you think this parent goes to a hospital, collects a mask, washes them for a living, and resells them? Do you think she understands what we are talking about when we are talking about ungari infect?
Oh, Father
Do you
God.
think ingane ephume ekhishini elinjena
Jesus.
is ready to come to school and not infect others?
Yo.
Uyabona ukuthi
Resources.
do you think ingane yalo baba lo i-ready?
Utheni kanti ungathengi flexa, ungathengi nansi isifonyo mfundini? Andinamali awuthenga fonyo madoda. Yagcwala. Hayi ngeke. Uyasihlaza flex apha.
This is the
And guys, yabona in mina, I'm currently in England. Ingane yami ifunde England, and he's not going back to school. In England, they are proposing the 1st of June, which worries me. Ukuthi how nase South Africa seku 1st of June njalo. That's why ngiyibona copy and paste yonke lento. But we must remember ukuthi England isikole isiqala ngo September. So when they go back ngo June bayoqedela ama exams, ama equivalent of umatric oyobhala ama exam because vele ngo July isikole siyaphela. So make sure they are going back ngo June bayobhala ama exam. Ezethu mezithi go back ngo June uyoshaya nini uDecember. So khona eEngland mekuthiwa ama exiting grades aphindele esikoleni, which means umatric uyobhala exam, which means the last grade of primary school iyobhala exam. Uyabona ukuthi it's easy ukuyihlukanisa lezo ingane eklasini because they get to school, write an exam, go home. It's not a full day of schooling. Uyabona ukuthi ethi inkinga ayifani nabo. Our 1st of June is totally different from their 1st of June. Bona I can afford to take the risk because with June coming, the summer is coming. When it comes to weather, summer is here now. Ekhaya it's winter. Uyabona ukuthi we cannot have the same solutions because we are not the same and we are not going through the same things. England asikho isikole esinganayo ceiling, asikho isikole esinganayo ugesi, ngisho athiwa it's in a poor area. Their poor area is most likely to be equivalent to our rich area.
Yo.
Uyayizwa leyo nto? Very few children who take public transport to school because people go to school near their homes. They either walk or are driven by their parents. Akekho umuntu ovuka ngo-5 ekuseni ngoba ethi uye esikoleni. So uyabona ukuthi inkinga zethu ayifani nezabo.
That's right.
Yebo Sipho.
Just to add, Sister Thenjiwe, that's very, very true. And I just want to say, some of the people who are decision makers, their kids totally funda overseas.
Yes.
And they know exactly very well in South Africa we don't have resources. They just take whatever that they see implemented on the other countries or overseas. They try and try and bring it back here, forgetting what resources are right. Because I saw these other videos from China, and I say China, the sanitizer can be 4 times before it's the pants. And Tina, like South Africa, we not ready. We don't have money. We don't have those resources. So I don't think we should be parents, guys, parents, teachers. They need to be consulted.
Yeah. Noxolo uthini sis?
Hayi sisithenjiwe. Sizwe ukuthi hayi sizobuyela emsebenzini lokho nje. Ingimi khona ukuthi sizobuya emsebenzini kodwa kunzima lezi ngane lesifundisayo. Kunzima sesabile impilo zethu, sesabile impilo sesabela impilo zemndeni yethu, sesiphumile sahamba sesibuya ngama Fridays size emakhaya. Kuzobe kunzima ngempela ngoba kusho ukuthi umuntu uma efika ngo Friday kufanele ngithi mengena lapha egate ngibatshela ukuthi ngizozana nendishi ningibekele la kuhle umuntu ophuma ejele ngizogeza kuhle umuntu ophela ngizogezela ehlathini manje so for indishi sengilindile ngoba phela njengoba nginengane nje mina ina 5 months angikwazi ukuvela nje ngibuye emsebenzini ngibuye nje ngingene ngiqonde komntanami. Yes noma bengile ke edolobheni ngomthengela lezo zinto kodwa ngithi ngibuye ngisanitize nakhona ngiyakwenza lokho kodwa manje ukuhamba indlela ende kangaka ngisuka la ngiyaleke lelizwe engisebenzela kulona ekuyisemakhaya thina amanzi siwakhelelwa izona izingane zesikole siwakhelelwa ba manje makisimo sinje ngoba ukuthi phela asingabe sisasithelela amanzi. Iqiniso nje ukuthi vele nalama thembisa ukuthi bazowafaka esikoleni abazokwafaka ezikoleni ayizoba khona lokho. Thina siphila ngamanzi emvula la kule ndawo engihlala khona eswakha ngaphakathi esikoleni. Uma kuphela lawo mvula kusho ukuthi asicela izingane lezi zomakhelwane zihambe zosikhelela kude. Shoshe nje kusazoba inkinga enkulu kakhulu. Sisazogula ukugula nje sisazogula ukuzwa ngamanzi ngobhoko lokho bekushiwo ikhona lokho kuzokwenzeka ngempilo zethu futhi kuzoqala kahle hle ezikoleni zasemakhaya la kuzokwenzeka kakhulu. Kodwa ukuba bekuthiwa kuyenzeka ugovernment kumele nathi asicabanga kwethu. Othisha nje akake bacabangele kube kanye nje akabazwele othisha. Kube khona okuhle nathi asenzela khona kube khona okuhle esifana nokuthi sithi hayi cishe uyasibonga manje. Angeke size sikukhalela ukuthi sithi uJune udlulile uAugust udlule ngoba vele ngoAugust kuseza amanye amakhaza anzima banemvula. Into esho ukuthi le flu nje sisazoyithola ngempela sisazoba siyacela kona ukuthi kunganikelwa ngempilo zethu. Siyazithanda le impilo siyanda imindeni yethu siyabathanda abantwana esibafundisayo. Siyafisa nathi ukuthi ezindaweni esifundisa zona kuthuthuke kufane nesendaweni lezi zasemadolobheni la abasikhipha ngamakhala isingisi. Siyafisa nathi ukuthi izingane zikubone ukubaleka kwemfundo kungabe ukuthi kuyadudulwa nje ukuthi hambani esikoleni no copy and paste nje akawuyeke uma ukuthi lo phela uyaphela awupheli kuzobonakala ngolandela akho umuntu ofunjalo.
Yeah ne nango 1976 waphela unyaka. Akugcine ngathi guys mina mekukhona osafuna ukutsho mhlambe last words please nikhulume ngoba sesizoyivala. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi sizwile sakhuluma. We are concerned about impilo. Mina personally ngi-concerned about impilo zabantu, impilo zothisha, and I know ama situations esivela kuwona especially black people. Inkinga yami ifana nenkinga yomunye umuntu. So engikushoyo ukuthi angazi mhlambe ngikhuluma kakhulu kodwa ke siyanibongela bothisha sicela ningathi when you go back sicela nislay ngama mask ni sindinga nje nislay and do your best.
I stop it.
Try and help ingane the best you can. Let us try and overcome fear because uyabona nje they are trying even ezimeleni manje they have tried ukuthi kuzohlukaniswa ukuthi abantu bahlala lapha bahlaliphi. It's
this one way
new for everyone. This is new for everyone because nalokho asazi noma kuzosebenza yini because mangifika mina ngihlala lana kanti
akuzosebenza
one corona kwenzekani.
Mase sibreaka isitimela sikwenzekani ngoba masibreaka abantu bayaphushana bayale kwenzekani.
I don't know nanokuthi mengihlala mina ngihlala la behleli khona nekhorokhoro kwenzekani. Yabo this thing is confusing everyone yintsha kuwo wonke umuntu. So ngempela hey kunzima, kuzofanele sisebenze ngokubambisana, kuzofanele sisupportane, kuzofanele singabajaji futhi abathi ngempela bona bayasaba ukuya emsebenzini, singamjaji futhi umzali othi mina eyami ingane ngiyasaba, singamjaji futhi umzali othi mina ngiyayisa esikoleni, because ngempela akekho ongathi ikuphi oku-right ikuphi oku-wrong, kodwa nje mina ngiyasaba. I hope othisha bethu bazoba safe, otherwise thina siready ukuzoshaya lesi.
Maswanzima.
Kunzima ngempela. Umbuzo bayasibuza yona ukuthi ubona kuphi ifunda nokuthi kushonwe.
Hayi kunzima, asivaleliseni ngoba ngesize siyiqede namhlanje.
Hayi impela. Siyabonga kakhulu.
Kuthiwa ukuthi ngizokholeni ngigqoke kanje ngoba ngiyakusaba ukufa. Othisha guys, ngempela othisha siyanithipha. Angifuni ukubizwa sekuthiwa nangu uSindi noNoxolo. Nayi i-outfit efanele igqokwe othisha efanele niyenze. Guys, thank you so much.
Nilale kahle balalele emakhaya.
Nilale kahle emakhaya, siyabonga. Please, if kunamanye ama-topics enicabanga ukuthi fanele siwa-discuss, let us use this opportunity ukuthi sikhulume ngezinto, because abanye thothi uyihlala yedwa ekhaya kanabo abantu azokhuluma nabo. Love you guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye.